let's focus on estate planning for
Okay.
a minute, because that was a really great, background, and sets up this conversation. And what you just said, so important. The thing that we have to strive toward is understanding each other, because we cannot change the fact that we grew up during the period that we grew up during, and that's our history, and that influenced us, each of us, and some of us are still being influenced. But understanding each other and understanding where everybody's coming from, I'm gonna put out there a common combination of parent and child, because we do estate planning. So we're talking oftentimes to the parent. Planning for their children is what it really comes down to. And if we kind of pull this apart and focus on a common pairing, the baby boomer parent doing estate planning, and they have millennial children. Let's talk just a bit about how their different attributes, the different influences that those two generations have experienced, might impact this kind of planning.
Okay.
I see this, baby boomers with millennial children. A lot of times we're still seeing that the parents aren't seeing the children as completely fully formed adults, even though they're, in their 30s. What do you think about that?
It's interesting because I'm assuming you've been doing this for a while. So 10, 15 years ago, did you find that your clients normally saw their 30-year-olds as fully formed adults?
Well, it varies. I mean, every family is different, but it does seem that when I'm talking to parents of millennials specifically, they'll often say, I'll ask them, are they live at home? Where do they live? And if the child's living at home, there's some eye rolling. If the child's not living at home, it's like, yay, we did it. And we're talking about kids in their 30s. So
there's definitely a lot more commentary from the parents.
I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We didn't have conversations like that maybe 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah. Well, and I think that one thing that's changed, this has been like this for, 100 years now plus, right? Which is the way in which we see children has changed, right? Once upon a time, children were about have a bunch of kids that were going to,
do all the
farming and right. So I think as we become, more of a technological society, that what we're seeing is it does allow for young people to have this much longer time of finding themselves. So I think it's a couple different things. I think the parents' attitude about their kid is very different. They see their kid in a different way. They see them as a child, and that my role is to be your parent. And my role is to protect you and care for you. And if they watch their kid being a kid for so long, it does influence you versus the person who has a kid was an adult by the time they were 12.